This is honestly so embarrassing, but like my PC keeps frying for whatever reason, and I've tried to record this 3 times already, but my PC keeps frying. So sit back, relax with BTS, and we're about to do this Last of Us episode 1 recap through my phone. Let's get started. So hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am so sorry we're in this angle, we're doing it all like this, but when the going gets tough, we're making a YouTube video through my phone, like the old days. So yeah, hello everybody, welcome in. So, if you guys don't know, The Last of Us episode 1 just came out on HBO. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. There will be spoilers in this video, so if you do not want spoilers, then go ahead, click out, and then come back later. With that, let's get started. So, if you guys don't know, last year, when they had announced the cast for The Last of Us and everything, I was very adamant on it. Not adamant, I was very into it. Like, you know, once they released the casting, I had a different channel where I talked about like movie reviews, movie stuff and everything. And I posted about it, like, immediately turned on my camera and I was like, Pedro Pascal's casted, that's amazing, he's a Latino. Bella Ramsey was casted, that's amazing. I've seen her clips of her on YouTube with Game of Thrones, and I think she's a great actress. And then Gabriel Luna got cast. I love him. I love him to make Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I love him. He's my fellow Mexican actor. And, you know, I'm Mexican, so I truly felt like that. It was amazing. And then I kind of skewed away from that YouTube channel just because I was like, you know, I don't want to do that anymore. I wanted to focus more on gaming. So then, you know, I'm kind of moved all my reactions and everything to gaming. I haven't really talked much about it on my gaming channel because I was kind of like, that was like already in post-production once I moved everything to my gaming channel, so there wasn't really much to talk about except when the remake came out, and I did play the remake, so if you guys want to see that. I have been a fan of The Last of Us for a good while. I was really into these YouTubers called Geek Remix, and they played through it, and I had a lot of fun with it, watching them play it. And then it was my birthday one year, and so my friend and I went to GameStop, and she bought me the game, so thank you so much, Kat, for buying me the game. Then I got to play it. It was actually my first playthrough on my gaming channel. Isn't that wild? I mean, the quality wasn't so great, but I had a lot of fun, so that's all that matters, right? And then I got to play through part 2, and I had, you know, I had a game capture card and everything was so much better. I had a mic and everything, and it was just so good. And then when the remake came out, I played the remake, and it was just like a lot of fun. And so, yeah, now I just feel like it's appropriate to talk about the show because I watched it 3 times. It's like 11, about to be 12, and I watched it 3 times. I watched it at 6 p.m. Well, it comes out at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, but we have the Eastern channel, so I gotta watch it at 6. Yeah, I watched it at 6, and then I finished the first episode, and then they usually played like the same episode after, so then I watched it again, and then I watched it again, and then my mom was right there, and she was like, hey, this looks scary, interesting, and I was like, let me rewind it. And then so she was actually paying attention this time, and we just had a lot of fun watching it. She was confused. I had to explain everything like 5 minutes in, but anyways, we just had a lot of fun. And so I just want to give my thoughts on the show. Unfortunately, I have all my notes on my phone, so I'm just gonna have to think about it through my head, but the show is very fresh in my mind that I will talk about it. Next time I'll get like my 3rd watch for next week. I'll like write it in a notebook or something. But yeah, so let's get started. I'm sorry if I sound so frustrated or so rushed. Like I said, I tried recording this on my PC 3 times, but my PC keeps like overheating, and I've cleaned out the fans like not that long ago, so I guess I have to do surgery on it once again. But that's an issue for tomorrow because it's like almost midnight now. Again, I do apologize that this is through my phone and it might not be the best quality, but I'm trying my best here. Episode 1, it starts in 1968. Ooh, scandalous. I was like, hello, what are we doing there? A scientist, I believe, is getting interviewed, and he's just talking about like pandemics and stuff, and then the interviewer is like, so should we worry about anything? And then he's like, well, there's this thing called cordyceps. Ants get it. It's like fungus, but like it doesn't affect humans. Like, we're good. But he's like, but what if, oh my god, what if like global warming happened and the world got hotter? Like, what would happen if the fungus adapted to the heat? Then it could get to humans, then it could affect us. And then the guy's like, well, there's like a cure, right? He's like, no, we would all die. And then it's like, what? Well, you know, it wasn't like that. It was more dramatic, but you know, that's just me summarizing it. And then the guy's traumatized, and he's like, okay, we're just gonna end the show. And that's that intro, I'm going to be honest, it was like one of the most genius intros, because as a player, we know, like the OG players, we know what cordyceps is. We know everything about the fungus, the virus, and everything. But since it's a show, there's going to be new viewers. So it's like, how do we introduce this to the viewers? that was such a genius move. I don't know who did that or what, but like I was like, holy schmack. Like I was like, oh my god, that's amazing, you know? Like I thought that was so great. Like it was such a, like it was like chilling, like just to hear the guy say like there's no hope, there can be zero cure with this. Like it's like like I was gasping, like jaw dropped. I was like, oh my god, they went there with this. Like I thought it was so great. That was the intro, and that was so amazing. And then boom, we're switched to 2003. If you guys don't know, the game takes place in like 2013, I believe. I think, right? 2013? I'm not sure, but I think it does take place in 2013. And so they moved it. Not that the date really matters to me. I know a lot of people were like ticked off about it, but like it's just a year. Who cares about when the outbreak started? We care about the post. And I really did like the beginning because we're introduced to Sarah. If you guys don't know, in the video game, there's only a little bit of Sarah. And so this episode allowed her to for us as a viewer to see her more as like as a character, so that her, oh yeah, there's going to be spoilers here, by the way, if I didn't already say that. There's gonna be spoilers. So when she dies, it's more meaningful to us as the audience. And you know, people usually crave that within stories and stuff. You know, they want to feel something. I mean, I definitely cried when she died in the video games, but you know, other audiences might not feel the same, where it's like, oh, we just met them for like 5 minutes. But anyways, as I was saying, so it did give us time to like see her and have her be fleshed out, which I quite enjoyed like seeing, because you know, you got to see her going to fix the watch manually, her father's watch, Joel's watch. And then we got to see just her being very smart, because she is a smart girl. And then like, you know, we see her at school, we see her, you know, just like going around like to their neighbor's house and everything. The Adlers too, we get to see the Adlers, because the neighbors are kind of mentioned in the game. There was like a quick moment with them in the game, quick one. And so we kind of get to see them more fleshed out, especially. So it's always nice to see like more characters being fleshed out. And I do like that this TV show was able to do that. So I'm very happy with that. And then it just made like the story more meaningful. And then, you know, a little bit more with Tommy as well. You know, Gabriel Luna could always use more of him, you know. But yeah, it was very nice to just see his relationship with Joel as well, you know, before everything. Because we kind of meet Tommy where it's like, we gotta go, there's zombies. It was nice to see more of the slight dynamic. Also, it was like very small, but it was like, it really shows Joel's character and Tommy's character, where it's like, you know, Tommy's the younger brother, so Joel always has to go after him, or like, you know, constantly be on him or whatever. Like in the moment where Tommy is smoking and then Joel's like, don't do that. Or like when Tommy's in jail and then Joel has to, you know, bail him out. So like, there's just like little moments like that. Well, actually, it's a big moment because Joel leaves. I quite enjoyed that beginning. It was very interesting. It was also very sad. Can I just say the car sequence? And when I was watching it, I was like, they just ripped this out of the game. Like, it was amazing. That was the moment that my mom actually was like paying attention to the show, and she was like, this is interesting. She's like, let's watch this. And I was like, okay. Like, my mother is like, she's in her 50s and she's Mexican, so she doesn't really understand English that much, but she was interested. So I was like, oh my god, how impactful is this? That car sequence was amazing. And then the fact that instead of like the truck didn't get hit by another car, it was like the debris of like airplane stuff. Like, I thought that was so genius to do, because, you know, we were waiting. There was also a fake out with the car. Like, you know, you're just waiting for the car to hit them. There's a fake out, a car doesn't hit them, but then the airplane is what like hits them. Like, that was so genius of them to do. Like, and just like that whole like you know, that scene in the game gives me chills in general. Like, even when I replay it, like, I'm just like, ooh, like, it just makes me so uncomfortable just seeing everybody screaming. There's fires, everybody's running, you see like infected people biting people on the streets. Like, that's just how like it just makes you feel uncomfortable in the game. And oh, they got it right. They got it so right. They got it so right in the show. Like, I can't believe it. Like, I need to watch the show again. I probably will after that terrible, you know, depressing scene with Sarah. It was good in the sense that it did make me cry, and like, it was very impactful, especially because we spent most of the episode, or at least that first part of like the before times like the pre-infection times, like with Sarah. And so it was nice to, or it was nice to get those moments with Sarah so that that scene would have more of an impact. It hurt. It hurt once again. And then we are transitioned to 2023. Happy 2023. It was very interesting in the way that it started, because it starts with a little boy and he's going into the Boston QZ zone, and you're like, oh, like they're gonna help him out or whatever. I didn't notice that he was infected, and they have the little machine or whatever to check him, but it didn't say, like, it just showed a color. And so I thought it would say, because in the game it says like either infected or not infected, positive, negative, whatever. And so I thought that it would show it, but yeah, I didn't even realize that it would go red and green until later when they checked Tess and Joel. And so it went red, and then she's like, oh, we're gonna get you everything. And I was like, oh, maybe the Boston thing is cool. And then boom, you see his dead body, and I was like, oh, my jaw dropped. I was like, no way, I don't know he was infected. But I mean, not that I wasn't paying attention, but like when she saw his scar, I was like, oh, he's probably just got cut by something. But like, damn, they actually did that. And then we get our first introduction at Joel. I do like that, or Joel at that time. I do like that they did show more about the ration cards, because the ration cards, at least when I played, I was confused by them. I was like, what is this? I mean, I knew it was like a thing, like money, but I didn't realize that they did work for it. I thought it was just something that they got every once in a while. So it was nice to see that, people had to do jobs, like, like get rid of like dead bodies, burn dead bodies, or like go into the sewers like the guy said, or like other things. I forgot what the other thing was. And stuff like that to get ration cards, so, to pay for food and like items and clothes and things. Like they did have like quick shots of that in that beginning. So I did like seeing that. And then we see Joel making deals with security guards, and I thought that was very interesting. First I was like, what are we doing? And then he's talking about a car, and I was like, oh, he's trying to get a car. Of course he is, because he's trying to get out of here. And then I might have everything scrambled at this moment when we're in Boston, so like if I talk about something gonna happen later, but it was like the same sequence, so does it really matter? No. If I remember correctly, Joel's trying to get in contact with Tommy, which we didn't really realize. Well, I mean, at least in the game, I don't recall Joel trying to get in contact with Tommy at all. Like, Joel was doing his own thing, Tommy was doing his own thing, and then they were just like, hey, you're still alive. At the dam part of the game. So it is interesting that he wants to get in contact with Tommy just to make sure he's okay. And the guy's like, he's fine. So that is interesting that he does want to get in contact with him, even get a car to go to him. Like, I don't know what their plan was originally. I'm sure it'll be revealed within these next couple episodes that we have left with Tess, which I assume would be one more, considering because episode 3 is the Bill and Frank story. So if, my assumptions are correct, episode 2 would be Tess's final moments. Speaking of Tess, we are introduced to Tess. It is different than in the game, which I appreciate, because when we see Tess, she's just like, she's beat up, and then Joel's like, what happened to you? And then she explains everything. But we actually see that moment before, which I did like that we were able to see that, because I personally believe that it was important. It's like an important part of the game, where it's like, oh yeah, she had a fallout with shoot, what was his? I have no idea what the guy's name is. I watched the show 3 times, I played the game 2 times. I have no idea. But we all know who we're talking about. The guy who was supposed to sell her the car battery, or like in the game, the guns. We see that like altercation with him and his people, and then we know how she got the black eye, which is very cool. But also another thing that's crazy is that the explosion and like the Fedra agents and the Fireflies going at each other. Did you guys notice Bill? Bill was on that roof. He was shooting at Fedra agents, right? Like, we all saw that, right? Like, that was Bill. That was really like, I was like, is that Bill? Like, I know Nick Offerman's voice. That was him. I know Nick Offerman. I've seen every season of Parks and Rec. I think Anna Torv did well with what she was given for this episode. Another thing is that her and Joel are together. So obviously in the game, it's kind of hinted at that they have like a special kind of relationship. Like, it's not like we see them kiss or like hug or anything. But I did read an interview with Anna Torv, and she did say that they were going for like a more like they loved each other kind of route in the show, and they do show it with her getting into bed with him and you know, wrapping like her arm around him, like, you know, spooning him. And then if you like look closer, he like moves his arm and probably like grabs her. And I was like, I don't know, but I thought it was so cute. I was like, oh my god, like they're banging, y'all. No, but now that I'm thinking about that scene, the scene right before it with Joel, and the fact that he needs like pills to sleep. Oh my god, I don't know if you guys caught that, but when he was talking to the security guard, the like he tells the security, he's like, oh yeah, or like he's like, the more you do this, the more like pills you're gonna need. And he takes a lot of pills and alcohol. Like, that's not a good mixture, guys. Like, you can like, that's dangerous. Like, don't do that. So I think I do find that interesting that he does that. Like, could it be like he doesn't want to wake up in the morning? We don't know, but I do find that interesting. Like, obviously sleeping pills to sleep, but then also like all the alcohol, like, you know, he does that because he needs help sleeping. But also it could be one of those things where it's like, maybe he doesn't want to wake up. I don't know. That's just how I viewed that scene. I don't know what you guys thought of that scene. Let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, we met Ellie, Veronica. I know it's Ellie, but you know, they say it's Veronica for the show purposes. Her introduction, I do like that everybody's introduction was different. Like, I love it. And like, you know, gave like the audience more time to understand who she was. Actually, my mom didn't like her. She was like, who is she? Like, who is that? Like, girl. Like, she was like so mad every time. I was like, Mom, she's like the main character. Oh my god, stop. I do like her introduction and how they did change it so that she doesn't know Marlene. She doesn't, you know, she does not mess with the Fireflies at all. She's been with like, she's been at the Fedra military camp forever, her like whole life. And so she just does not mess with the Fireflies at all. She doesn't even know Marlene or anything. And so I do like that she's just like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Like, you know, like, what's going on with me? And it's revealed when we meet Marlene, which is very nice. Oh my gosh, she was girl boss, right? I do like that the actress that actually did motion capture and voice acting for the show was cast as Marlene. Like, that's so cool. Like, imagine being in the video game and then you're the character in real life. Like, oh, that would be like a dream. I was so excited when I saw her. She was so girl boss, and she was like, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. And then, you know, this scene with her and Ellie, and I like the little hint at Riley. And it also gives a hint to like what we'll see later, because Left Behind is also part of the HBO show, so we are going to see that happen, and I'm very excited for that because it's gonna be crazy. It's just so cool. Like, their two introductions were amazing. Like, you know, Ellie is cursing, and you know what, every time she cursed, she sounded a lot like Ashley Johnson, which I really appreciated. I don't know if they were going for that or like if she just naturally sounded like that with her American accent, because Bella Ramsey does not have an American accent, by the way. So her American accent was very good, by the way. So those are my thoughts for at least them for right now. Let's see what happens next. Oh, the scene with Joel and Tess when they see the infected on the wall. That was really cool. Like, can we just talk about like, what was that? Like, art design? Like, production? I don't know what department that would be. Because when I worked on short films, it was like costume design and production design. There we go. Production designs, like with the whole, oh, it was disgusting, and it was very cool. Like, can I just say, like, that was amazing. Like, how? And then, yeah, it was just so cool, like how it looked. And then we get the scene with Marlene and Ellie and Joel and Tess, and it's different. It's not the same as the show. You know, Ellie's like running towards him and he just pushes her. Like, when he pushed her against the wall, I was like, oh. And I kind of laughed. I'm gonna be honest, I laughed because she like flew like after he pushed her, and I was like, oh my god. It was so, I'm sorry, but it was funny. It was like shocking, but it was funny. And then the fact that like, well, Marlene is still injured, but we don't meet her in like that whole, like in the game where you're like going through that whole section just to like pass through people. And you know what, and I will say I do like that about the show, because I feel like with the game, those are long pieces, and you know, you can't really have Joel and Tess like hiding behind a wall for like 5 minutes just for like gameplay purposes. Like, you know, they gotta get through things. So I do like that they found those kind of loopholes to do in the show, and they worked very well. Like, you know, like we do have Joel and Tess like running through like buildings, or like going through buildings and like the sewers and stuff, but it's not as time consuming as the video game. And I will say I did appreciate that, like seeing that on the big screen. and like how it worked well too, because you know sometimes things like that don't work. Like a lot of video games don't work for that reason, but it worked very well. So I do applaud them for that. Good job. And you know, just making it work like in that way. And that whole scene with Marlene, and then she's like, you're gonna do it. She's like, go get whatever you want. You want your car, you want your battery? I got it. You just gotta take her there. And they're like, do we? No, we don't. Yes, we do. No, we don't. What else? The scene with Joel and Ellie in the house. You know, there's a lot of dialogue that is the exact same as the game, and I do like how they're so different, but they both work in their own ways. Like in the video game, it works. In the TV show, it works. Even though they're 4 different actors, and they all have their own thoughts and how they perceive those lines, and then they do spin it their own way. Like when Joel is saying, he's like, well, I'm gonna kill time, and then Ellie's like, well, what am I supposed to do? And he's like, well, you can figure that out. Like, I do like that they have like their own way in how they think Joel or Ellie would go about saying these and how they would do it. And I do like that they got to do it, and it wasn't like them copying Troy Baker or Ashley Johnson. Like, they spun it their own way, and I liked it. Like, it works. So I will say that too. Like, I like that they, like, you know, a lot of people were very mad at the fact that Bella Ramsey wasn't able to play the game, or like they had her not play the game, or them, sorry. They go by they, them pronouns. So that Bella Ramsey, they didn't play the game during the, during production or like during filming. And you know, a lot of people were mad about it, but I understood it. Like, I mean, of course they are going to go about it, in their own way, but you know, I feel like if you do watch like the original source material and how like another actor did it, then yeah, there would be some inspiration within giving your performance. So it's like, if you just strip that all away, you'll do it your own way. And Bella did it their own way, and it was great. Also with Pedro, so good. That scene was like highlight of the show for me. Like, it was so good. Actually, the first scene was like my favorite scene in the show, but that was a highlight in the show. And then, you know, we have the scene where they are like, all right, let's go. It was interesting that we got to see the officer from before. Like, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I was like, maybe he'll get him out of it, but he didn't. Like, he didn't. And then I was like, oh, I wonder how they're gonna spin this scene out, because you know, that's the scene where they find out Ellie is infected is like so grand into the story that I was like, I wonder how they're gonna spin it. And they spinned it quite well. Actually, I was shocked, and this probably was like my second favorite scene in the whole game, because I don't think people, like, in the game they kind of hint at it, but it's not really shown. But Joel has PTSD, and I like that they were able to show it so quick into the first episode, where it's like Ellie stabs the guy because she's like, I don't want him to, you know, to kill me because I'm infected. So then, you know, she stabs him, and then they're like, whoa, what the heck? And then he's shining his like gun, and the gun has a light. So then Joel gets PTSD from 20 years back with Sarah, and the guy was flashing his light at them, and then I liked it because he straight and attacked him, because he wishes he could have done that back then to save his daughter's life. Like, he couldn't save his daughter's life, so he did it to save the lives of Ellie and Tess, whether he knew he was doing it for them or not. But I do like that that was a trauma response to just go straight towards that light, because he didn't the first time, resulting in the death of his daughter. So I did think that was such an amazing scene, and I do like how they did that and how they turned it out, instead of, you know, like in the video game, I think Tess just like goes bam to him. So I did like it just because of that whole PTSD response, and I'm sure there's going to be more scenes with Joel dealing with his PTSD throughout the series. So I am very interested to see how that goes. And yeah, that's all my thoughts, other than when they find out that Ellie is infected, but it isn't as dramatic. It's just like, she's infected, what the fuck? And then they're like, oh, we gotta go. So it's very quick in that scene where they find out she's infected, because before, you know, Ellie kind of explains it, like for the audience, and it's like, oh no, now we gotta fight the baddies. But then in this one, it's kind of like, no, we gotta go. Like, we hear you're infected, but let's just get the heck out of here. You know, we just, like, you know, Joel just, you know, bang this dude, you know, or like, you know, this guy. So There wasn't really time to think about it. It's just like, oh, she's infected. Okay, we'll deal with this later. Let's just get out of here right now. I don't really have thoughts on that, but I mean, I do kind of like it because it's like, we gotta go. You're infected. Who cares? Let's get out of here. You know? It was kind of rushed in that fact, but I do like the whole PTSD scene before, so that kind of makes up for it. But yeah, those are all my thoughts for The Last of Us episode 1. Again, I apologize that this is on my phone. I wish it wasn't, but it is. It is what it is. I'm gonna try to fix my computer by tomorrow so that I can resume my PC work. I do apologize for this. Let me know what you guys think of episode 1. Let's chat about it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video, and also don't forget to hit subscribe and everything. I will be doing these recaps every week until the show is over, and then I'm gonna have to replay the game over and over and over again until they make a season 2 of the second game and then a season 3 of the second game, because that game is too big to be one season. And even the creators, Craig Mazin, I don't know if Neil Druckmann spoke about it, but Craig did, and he was like, that game's too big to be one season. So hopefully we can get 2 more seasons out of part 2. That would be great, wouldn't it? You know, one season Ellie's story, the other season Abby's story. Like, wouldn't that be sick? I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, I will be doing these every week. Hopefully not through my phone. Not that I don't like my phone, but it's like, wouldn't it be better if I had a webcam? And you guys not seeing BTS? I'm just gonna take a wild guess and just assume most gamers don't know who they are. But yeah, thank you guys so much. If you watch this whole thing, I appreciate you. I just love to have conversations about like my favorite TV shows, and I feel like YouTube is the medium where I can do it. And so yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts down below, like your favorite scene. What was your favorite part of the adaptation? Let me know, and tell me what you're excited for. They did a preview and I'm like excited for everything. Maybe I'm more excited for Gabriel Luna, but that's just me. You know, I have a bias towards him. But yeah, let me know, and don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys all later. So goodbye everybody, have a great rest of your day, night, whatever it is. Bye.